Hey, welcome to Writer Rays. Today's lesson is called The Lord Will Provide. We're looking at Genesis 22, 1 through 14. Now, the text that we have before us in this study is one that hopefully most Christians are acquainted with. Now, the enemy is most definitely acquainted with it and would like to see it erased from existence. You can see this in the world's response to it. This story to the world is an example of the wickedness of God. After all, how could a good God ask a father to sacrifice his only son? Doesn't God condemn child sacrifice in the law? Why does God contradict himself? This just shows how evil Christianity is. Why do they say this? Because some have never read the Bible and therefore have no idea why God is doing this. They can't trace the promise, that scarlet thread of Christ that is weaving its way through Scripture, starting with, in the beginning, God, and then going all the way through to the end. But Satan knows full well what this passage means. That is why he hates it and wants the world to hate it. Fortunately, you will hear many in the church miss the point of this passage. The story is not about being willing to sacrifice to God what you have so he can give you something that's better. It's not about giving to get. If you're in a church where this is coming from the pulpit, then you might want to leave. They're not teaching you the truth. That is taking the beauty and the sheer glory of this passage and making it into about temporal needs. And that's not what this is about. Sacrifice of Isaac is not about getting what you want. Sorry, it's just not what this is about. Because this passage, on one hand, fearfully hated, and on the other, watered down or made into a man-centered message. We expect to, find speculations that run rampant throughout this passage. Where God does not speak, we're not invited to fill in the blanks, okay? We might wonder about things, but we must not place our wonderings into the Bible or teach other people that's what it means. Let's not place our speculations on the level of thus saith the Lord. And if we're going to teach on this passage, we ought not make points of instruction based on guesses. It's a danger all of us have. It's a danger we must all avoid. The story of God's command to go to Mount Moriah to sacrifice Isaac can easily be broken down into two sections. The first two verses of 22 are the command that God gives. We must spend some time examining that before we press into the rest of the narrative. The rest of the story in verses 3 through 14 tell of Abraham's response to God's command. The question is, when God commands, what does faith do? And we'll look at that question as we go throughout this study. So come on back next time and we'll take a look at God's command.